And I mean, if this is too long, I can always just split it here. So if I split it here, goodbye. If I don't split it here, hello. Here we go.
Oh, looks like you're awake.
We're just magically back here. Is this the infirmary?
Why are we here?
Do you know what happened at the AB gate?
Kay and I went back to the infirmary, but...
We waited, and the two of you never returned.
Mm-hmm.
So we went to the warehouse to check on you.
We found you passed out in front of the AB rooms.
Kay and I hurried back here with you.
I looked over at Fi and met her eyes. Do you remember what happened just now?
You mean what happened a long time ago?
Yeah. You got him pretty good, huh? Oh, Dio. I was like, what?
Yeah, I remember all right.
Hey, what are you guys talking about?
I like the idea that Dio went in, was about to stab someone, was suddenly unconscious, and then wakes up with like the bracelet on his hand and in the room, and he's just like, oh, I'll just go with it. Quark!
What am I? Chopped liver?
Yeah. Alice!
Back among the conscious and not psychotic, huh?
Yeah, thanks. Grandpa told me what you did. Thanks for finding the medicine for us.
No problem, all I need is work. Although, I wouldn't mind a little swimsuit action. See that shot?
Really grabbing at straws here, aren't you?
And why'd you say that when Quark spoke? Please? Hey, I wasn't talking to Quark. Yeah. That was an offer for Alice.
Not really my point.
Oh, whatever. Forget about that. Now that you guys are awake, all we gotta do is open the number 9 door.
We didn't vote. Huh?
What are you talking about?
Look at your bracelet.
What? Wait. It says 10. I have 10 BP.
I've got 15 BP? That means I got 6 more points while I was out.
But how?
You've been asleep for more than 2 hours. We've played the AB game 3 times.
Oh, thanks. So we don't have to do that. 3 times?
Of course, the color and group assignments were shuffled around each time. But no matter who voted, everyone chose Ally.
I like that Dio has been knocked out this entire
And
time,
now
too.
all of us have enough to leave.
Okay, let's go then. I was stunned. How had everyone cooperated long enough to raise all of our BP past 9? Was it because Akane hadn't been killed? Without a death to start things off, maybe we'd been less suspicious of one another. Or could the bombs have had something to do with it? Hold on. I read all that, but my mind wasn't comprehending it. Hold on. We'd all joined forces against Dio, and Fi and I had been able to disarm all of them. All of us had banded together against a common enemy and overcome a tremendous threat. Perhaps that had strengthened our bond. Which, I had to admit, would be somewhat ironic. After all, Dio had planted the bombs that forced us all to work together against him. This must have been what Akane was talking about.
Haven't I told you? Death was unavoidable. Sacrifices.
Yes, we were
Come on,
there.
let's go! Let's open the door and get out of here!
Wait, what about him? After some discussion, we decided to leave Dio behind. What? Alice was the only holdout. She'd complained about wanting to take him back to her superiors, but after I mentioned they'd come back to investigate after we escaped and deal with Dio then, she reluctantly complied. You're just gonna leave him there? I guess it's it'd be annoying to carry him around.
All right, let's get going.
Kind of rude. What if they can't get in for like a long time? Everybody ready? I'm gonna open it.
Yes, just get on with it.
Everyone else swallowed and nodded. I grabbed the lever and pulled it down. So slow.
The number 9 door has been opened. It will remain open for 9 seconds.
All right, everybody, let's move. I didn't need to tell them twice. The room inside was clearly a loading elevator. It looked sort of like a large plate on top of a huge pedestal. We ran to the center of the plate and turned around. The number 9 door stood wide open.
2, 1, 0. The number 9 door is closing.
Well,
The number 9. This end. Thank you. As the game is...
That always sounds like an alarm going off. Rather than like a lift. A lift alert? I don't know what you would call that.
okay.
So many doors, so many openings.
Looks like we did it.
Yes, we should keep moving.
Beyond the door was a wide hallway that ended in a very solid wall. To the left, we found a very familiar looking door. We pushed it open and went in. Yup. The pressure exchange chamber.
You know what this place is?
Yeah, sort of. This whole facility is pressurized, apparently. I think the idea is to keep the air outside and consequently the virus from getting inside. That means that if we want to go out, we have to decompress so we match the outside air pressure. This room here is where you prepare for going into the actual pressure exchange room. You see all those suits along the wall? I figure we need to put those on and head to the decompression room downstairs.
Whoa! Hold on a minute! You're saying the air outside is full of that horrible virus?
Yeah, that's what it seems like. Of course, according to Akane, we were all already infected with Radical 6, so the whole room seemed a little pointless.
Why? How did all this happen?
Did they...
No. That's not possible.
We've come this far. We can't turn back now. Let's go outside. There's no way to know what's really going on until we do.
All right.
Let's go! No one objected. We all donned the protective suits and headed downstairs to the decompression room. As soon as we were all inside, the process began. Through my helmet, I could hear the soft hiss of air being sucked out of the room. We stood there for several minutes, waiting for the process to finish. At last it did, and we heard the door begin to open. Beyond it was another decompression chamber. We repeated the process 2 more times before we reached the final door and opened it. Here we are, once again, outside. The dead, bleak landscape wasn't a surprise for me. I'd seen it before in another timeline. The others hadn't, however, and although I couldn't see their faces through the visors of their helmets, I heard more than a few gasps over the radio. For a few long moments, we just stood there, astonished.
Where the hell are we? The desert, I guess? I figured that out. I mean, which one? I don't know, but I think I know what day it is.
It's the red moon thing.
Look at the moon. It's red, right? That means today's the total lunar eclipse. So? Remember the astronomy magazine in the lounge?
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure that's old. I think this is like the next total lunar eclipse or something.
Well, the next eclipse like this was gonna be on December 31st, 2028. So... Wait a minute. Let me get this straight. Are you suggesting we were sleeping for a week after we were abducted?
No, I think it was probably longer.
I think so.
Wherever we were must have been far away from any city. The air was clearer than I'd ever seen. And the stars, the sky was full of them, more stars than I'd seen in my life. I could even spot the hazy arm of the Milky Way. But the most striking feature was the moon. It was blood red and massive, much bigger in fact than I'd remembered it being. Then, as I watched, a black spot began to move across its surface. It was hard to see details, but it looked circular. The spot continued to move across the moon, heading for the right edge. Oh, what's that?
Moon. Well, the moon's shadow, actually.
The moon's shadow? I frowned. That didn't make any sense. It's an eclipse. What do you mean?
Zero told me to stay quiet. I think he was worried I'd spill the beans on his operation. He said if I didn't toe the line, he wouldn't just kill me. He'd kill Quark, too. And I agreed, like an idiot, and brought Quark with me. Just so I could see her. Such an idiot. So, that being the case, might as well start with this. I meant what I said before. That up there is the moon's shadow.
Okay. Well, what the hell are you saying?
Think about it. If that's the moon's shadow, then what's it falling on?
What?
That's Earth?
Yeah.
Oh, are we on the moon?
It's not the red moon you get from a lunar eclipse. And again, this isn't a lunar eclipse. It's a solar eclipse. Anybody in the black spot down there is looking up at the moon covering the sun.
Yeah, okay. What? No, no way. If that's Earth, then where the hell are we?
The moon, of course. This is the lunar surface. We were just inside a moon base.
No way. No, you've gotta be lying. How do you expect us to believe that? This can't be the moon.
Well, I mean, if you look in the sky, you can...
Yeah, that's pretty ridiculous. Besides, if this was the moon, how do you explain the gravity? The moon only has 1/6 of the Earth's gravity. So what's this?
She picked up a rock and dropped it.
See? That looked perfectly normal.
Yeah,
Luna?
You were right about the gravity in a way. I was one of the people who knew this wasn't Earth. Well, I suppose I'm not people, if we're being honest, but... Excuse me? What? Please just listen. Alice, you were infected with Radical 6. Then we gave you the Accelavir, which cured you. The Radical 6 isn't completely gone, though. Some of its symptoms stick around for a while.
Oh, so they're trying to explain the gravity by saying things look faster because they have Radical 6.
What symptoms? Well, Radical 6 can slow down your brain's processing speed by the root of 1/6. It can take a while for your brain to get back up to speed.
Okay.
Every one of us has been infected. In other words, all of our brains have been processing information at a much lower speed. If you evaluated the root of 1/6, you'll get a number close to 0.408. That means our brains are running at something slightly less than half speed. As you said before, the moon's gravity is about 1/6 that of Earth's. The time that it takes for an object to fall is inversely proportional to the square root of the gravitational acceleration. Since the gravity is lower on the moon, that means the time increases. I guess that's a little technical. Well, let me give you an example. Say you drop an apple
Oh
from
my
a height
god.
of 100 meters.
I don't think we need an explanation. I get it.
Approximately 1 second to hit the ground.
Uh-huh.
Moon, however, that time would be 1 second times root 6.
Well, thank
Which would be
you.
approximately 2.45 seconds. I used 4.9 meters because it matches up with the acceleration of gravity nicely. But it could be the gravity constant as well. A constant. You could drop something from 10 centimeters or 10 meters and it would be the same. Does that make sense?
Yes. You didn't need to explain any of that. You just had to say your brain is processing things differently.
So, now we've established that on the moon, things fall root 6 times slower than they do on Earth.
Okay,
That
yeah.
being the case, what would happen if someone's brain slowed down by root 6?
Why do they feel the need to explain things so thoroughly in these games? And it's always the exact same way. I mean, I mentioned earlier that all the characters in this game went to like the same teaching seminar because they all speak the same way when they explain things. Oh my goodness. Also, I think this is stupid.
To them, 2.45 seconds would feel like 1 second. 4.9 seconds would feel like 2. But it's not hypothetical. That's what's been happening to every one of us.
Also, correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't Akane say that Luna didn't have it? So...
Wait, you're saying that's the reason we didn't notice the weaker gravity? Are you sure you didn't notice anything? Think back. Huh? You and Sigma and Phi said something about it in the lounge. About how you felt weird.
It's kind of like my body isn't really mine. I'm sort of floating. Like that?
Is that why everyone's been able to, like, jump so high here? That would explain it if that's the case. It seemed insane, but what Luna said made sense. Like, the whole picking things up and, like, dropping things, yes, makes sense, but if you were to jump and stuff, you would notice that you're able to jump a lot higher. Like... Which people have done in this game, to be fair. But, like, you would notice that yourself if you tried to, like, jump. In fact, it explained Phi's apparently superhuman strength quite well, yeah. Yep. Just what I was talking about. How had she been doing that and not noticed? She was just like, oh yeah, I can do this. Like, what?
Wait, this is crazy.
Try
That
jumping.
can't possibly be Earth out there.
Jump.
Look at it. I've seen photos of Earth, and it's blue and green and beautiful.
It's dead.
That thing is just red.
Before we get into that, I should probably tell you something. This isn't New Year's Eve in 2028.
What a shock.
Today is January 27th.
In 29? No.
No.
Don't tell me. 30?
No.
Still no.
Then just what year is this?
It's 74. 2074.
Why is 5 shock? Okay. No, that's insane. That would mean we were abducted more than 45 years ago. Why are you shocked, Sigma? Literally, Tenmyouji had a picture of Akane as a small child. Well, actually, no, I guess that wouldn't be as shocking. It's only shocking because, like, it's only not shocking because we know, I guess.
I don't blame you if you don't believe me, but it's the truth.
How can you be sure?
It's not that hard. Quark and I left Earth on January 23rd, 2074. Solar eclipses are easy to predict. We've known that there'd be one on the 27th for a long time. That's just science. Nobody can change that.
But why is the Earth red?
That's a long story. About 45 years ago, on April 13th, 2029, there were 18 annihilation reactors operating in various parts of the world.
Was it a Friday?
On the 13th, all 18 of them went up, all at the same time. The explosion was about 180,000 times as powerful as the atom bomb they dropped on Hiroshima.
What? Why?
I suppose it started a few months before that. The government had a test site for a future Mars mission out in the middle of Nevada. On December 31st, 2028, there was an accident.
Right. I assume that this is the, like, recording that we heard.
Accident doesn't quite convey the right sense of the thing. The point is, Radical 6 claimed its first victims there, then escaped. Didn't take long for it to spread to the rest of the world. Like Luna explained, the virus slows your brain down, but eventually, it also makes you kill yourself. Pretty soon, the bodies started to pile up. Some people would take a dive off a building or shoot themselves in the head. You know, the classics.
Okay.
But for some, it was poison, or fire, or asphyxiation, or the noose. Plenty of people jumped in front of trains or cars. One pilot on a passenger airline drove his plane into the ground.
I don't know if we need to hear all those. We just need to hear they killed themselves.
Most forms of transportation ground to a halt pretty fast. That meant food couldn't get distributed, and thousands of people who weren't even infected died from starvation. Everywhere you went, there were just piles of corpses, covered in flies and rats and crows. I don't know what hell's like, but I imagine it's a lot like that. After a while, people who managed to avoid getting infected started trying to get in touch with one another. They got a hold of some radios and organized a couple meetings. There was only one thing to discuss, of course. How could they get rid of Radical 6? The answer, they decided, was purification. They figured they could just roast the surface of the Earth and that'd kill the virus off for good.
Okay.
On April 13th in 2029, they put their plan into effect. That plan was to detonate all 18 annihilation reactors. Now the truth is, that's mostly just rumor. Nobody really knows what happened. But I've got my own theories. I think that the bombers had already been infected. And when they died, they took billions with them. The ultimate if I die, you're coming with me gesture, I suppose. I bet you money they'd all lost it long before they got to the reactors. Killing most of the world, no matter how bad things had gotten, was not a sane plan. Even if it wasn't directly responsible. Radical 6 killed most of the people on Earth. Anyway, why it happened isn't that important. Point is, it happened.
Huh.
The explosions threw a ton of crap up into the stratosphere, where it joined up with smoke and ash from all the fires. It blotted out the sun for 7 years. Plants withered and animals died by the millions. The few humans who were left banded together to survive. They were rough times. Eventually they were over, though. The sky cleared and the sun came back. Plants started blooming again, and the animals that hadn't died out completely began to reappear. Things weren't quite back to normal, though. It's been 45 years now, but there's still quite a bit of dust and ash in the air. That's what you're seeing. You know why a sunset's red? Well, this is the same thing. Blue and green light have short wavelengths, and they scatter when they run into debris in the air. Red light, on the other hand, has a longer wavelength, which means it'll get a lot farther when the air's dirty. So there you are. The Earth looks red because that's the only color of light that can make it through the atmosphere.
Okay. I was speechless. What could I possibly say? There was no reason for Tenmyouji to lie to us. So we were standing on the moon, looking at the Earth. It was 2074, but why? Why were we there? Why were we then? So we gotta go back and stop Radical 6? Is that what we're... I was so lost in thought, I barely noticed Phi's approach.
Hey, Sigma. I think I figured something out.
A window popped up on the side of my helmet with Whisper in the corner. What? She seemed to be using a circuit only we could hear. Yeah? What is it?
Figured out why there's an extra E.
Huh? An extra... Oh, a 9th? Oh, you mean the graffiti?
Yeah, the one on floor B. I think it's an anagram, just like on floor A.
Mm-hmm. What's Anna say this time?
God damn it, Sigma!
Alright, calm down. Trying to have fun.
Memento mori if the 9th lion ate the sun. If you rearrange the letters, you get... The man on the moon rules the infinite time.
Okay.
See?
And you just chose not to do that? You just chose not to try and do that, even though the other one was an anagram. You're like, I won't look into it.
So they stuck an extra one in 9th.
The man on the moon rules the infinite time.
I think it's a message for us from Zero Senior and Akane. Remember what she was telling us?
We created the AB project for one purpose, to transform the consciousnesses of two.
So, what are you getting at?
My God, you're slow.
Yes, he is.
You don't get it? They're saying we rule the infinite time. Infinite time. They weren't just talking about having us jump a couple hours. I think they're planning to send us back. Way back.
What? Wait a minute. Are you saying you think they're going to send us back 45 years?
Yeah. I'd bet on it.
So the ultimate purpose of the AB project is to send us back in time so that catastrophe Tenmyouji was talking about? Or to that
I think
catastrophe?
so.
That doesn't make sense, though. I mean, we came from that same time period before it actually... So why bring us here and then send us back? To teach us a lesson.
Well, Akane should be able to tell us the rest. Let's go pay her a visit.
Do you know where she is?
I've got an idea. Come on, think. Remember what she said when she gave you the key?
Tu fui ego eris.
Right. I'd forgotten about that. The grave. The one in the garden.
Well, come on, what are you waiting for?
They can just get back in? Or are we going, like, jumping
Let's
back?
go.
Oh. We turned and ran back into the pressure exchange chamber. The others following close behind. You can just go back in? I thought the door was like supposed to be closed shut forever and unopenable.
What are you doing? Did you forget something?
Yeah, we forgot Dio. We're going to go have a talk with somebody.
Who?
It doesn't matter. You really need me to spell it out? The person behind all this.
You mean Akane?
What?
I'll take that as a yes. Let me accompany you then.
Wait, why do you know about Akane?
Because he has my face.
I'll tell you when we get there. Now, if you please.
I'm coming with you. You folks just said the magic word.
I'm going to then.
Okay, everybody, come on. Let's go.
Hey, is this Akane you're talking about?
Yeah, you know her real well.
Wait, you're serious? What the hell is going on?
Oh, shut up. Just shut up. Come on if you want to. We don't need to do roll call. Once we get there, Akane can explain everything. Again. With that, we headed back through the airlock. I have a feeling we're in for another long-winded explanation. But the fact that we're able to just get back in, I find really weird. Because then doesn't that completely, like, entirely defeat the purpose of it being like, the door will never open again? Because then literally the people who left could, like, leave, go right back in, and the other people could just leave, maybe?
Ah, clever. The number 9 door on floor A is shut forever once the game ends. Assuming Zero Jr. was telling the truth, of course.
Okay. Oh, is this the other door?
But the door on floor B...
Yeah. Thought we might be able to take the lift to it. And it looks like I was right.
Yeah, so so the whole time couldn't people have just left, gone around back, come through, let everybody out?
Any idea where Akane might be?
Yeah. The grave.
You mean the grave in the garden?
No, I mean she's in the grave. She's dead. No. Yeah, don't worry. I don't think she's buried there or anything. Chances are she's alive. Just in the grave. Anyway, let's move. To the garden. Okay.
Is Akane really under here?
I think so.
What should we do?
Use the key around my ankle that I somehow never noticed.
Are we gonna dig her out?
No, I don't think we'll have to do anything like that. You see the keyhole in the grave? If I just insert this here. I pulled the key off my ankle and fitted it into the hole. I twisted it to the right until I heard something unlock. With a quiet grinding, the grave began to shift. Oh, she's in a pod?
What is this?
Oh, have we not found a pod?
It
Here,
doesn't
yeah.
look like a coffin.
Yeah, it's a treatment pod.
Oh my god.
It is, isn't it?
The glass on the cover had frosted over, making it opaque. We couldn't see who or what was in it.
Let's see what's inside.
She grabbed a hold of the lever on the side of the pod.
No good. I think it's locked.
What?
Treatment Pod TP00. Stage 1 defrosting complete.
Okay.
Stage 2 will be complete in 10 minutes.
Alright, you guys, you want to sit on the bench together? Talk?
Once stage 2 is complete, the lock will automatically disappear.
Okay, you're talking too slow. Right, cold sleep.
What?
These pods can put people into cold sleep. It uses something called CAS to freeze human bodies without destroying their cells.
So, Mizakane's like an ice cube?
I think so.
And we gotta wait till she melts?
Yeah.
So how about you tell us your story while we wait, Kay? Specifically, why do you know Akane?
Take off your helmet. Show them that you look like me.
I remembered.
What do you remember?
Everything.
It's
I
very
was born
convenient.
and raised in this facility. It's called Rhizome 9. A rhizome is an underground plant stem that spreads by sending out roots. Kind of makes sense, doesn't it? This facility is a little like a rhizome. Supposedly, that's why they call these installations that. The number comes from the facility's number. There are 54 rhizomes on the moon, and this is the 9th one. Well, I suppose the other ones don't really matter to you, do they? In any event, I grew up here with Akane and Zero Senior. I watched them create the AB project.
The AB project?
Yes. Its purpose is to send Phi and Sigma, or their consciousnesses at least, to the past.
Back 45 years, right?
Yes.
So, you want us to change history, huh? Go back and keep Radical 6 from getting out, and stop the reactors from exploding. That's our mission?
Well, not exactly.
Oh, what do you mean?
It's true that the ultimate goal of the project is to keep Radical 6 from spreading to the general population. But even if you do make it back, you won't be able to do much. By now, it's already too late.
Too late?
What do you mean?
Let me begin at the beginning.
Oh my god. Okay.
You might be thinking that Zero Senior and Akane were the ones who created all this, but that's not entirely correct. They only followed the histories they'd already seen. It was the only choice they had. Nothing less than the future of mankind is at stake. We need the two of you to jump through timelines while maintaining your memories. That is why you had to play the AB game.
We know.
A lot of chromatic doors were
We
necessary.
know.
By forcing multiple options, you could make numerous jumps. We speculated that jumping more would strengthen your memories. The puzzles were also there for a purpose. Some theories hold that a moment of insight when you solve a puzzle strengthens your connection to the fourth dimension. That was the reason for the puzzles. Your infection with Radical 6 was also a vital part of our plan.
Uh-huh. Why are they explaining this like twice?
By slowing down your brain's processing speed,
We were there.
you can store your
We
potential.
heard this.
With that energy stored up, we just had to provide a life or death situation to launch your consciousness into the fourth dimension.
You gonna compare it to a slingshot too? Oh my god!
Right, a slingshot.
No! I was joking! Okay, at least he... At least he didn't like go into detail explaining it again.
Hold on just a minute here.
Oh my gosh.
You keep talking about Sigma and Phi, but what about the rest of us?
Yo, we're just here to die. You don't matter.
Why did you bring us here?
Not simple. In earlier histories, you were all here in Rhizome 9. We needed you here to accurately replicate those histories.
Wait, what does that mean?
Although I suppose that's probably not a good enough explanation for you.
Yeah.
In a sense, though, it is the truth. Our primary goal was to replicate history. The rest is... Yes, I suppose I should explain. Very well. I will try and do so in a way you can understand.
Okay.
First, Alice and Clover. They were abducted 45 years and 1 month ago, on December 22nd, 2028. The location is Earth, of course. More specifically, Los Angeles, California. Correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
After being kidnapped, Your bodies were sent to a facility under Akane's direction. You were placed in treatment pods and immediately put into cold sleep. 4 months later, you arrived at this facility. The date you finally arrived was April 14th, 2029. Your trip from Earth to this facility was aboard a spaceship powered by an annihilation engine. Following your arrival, your pods were placed in long-term storage.
I've noticed that a lot of the dates in these games tend to be in April. It's weird.
Does that make sense?
Are you telling me we were sleeping in those pods here for 45 years?
Are you just... Okay.
Yes, in preparation for this day.
But why? What do you need us for?
You are an Esper, aren't you, Clover? I mean that you are able to access the fourth dimension. Am I wrong?
Did Akane tell you?
In a manner of speaking. As I've already explained, the purpose of this project is to send Sigma and Phi's consciousnesses to the past. Espers are able to sort of resonate with one another, which can amplify their power. You understand? This is why we brought you here, Clover.
What about me?
We needed your help, Alice, to deactivate Dio's bombs.
Huh?
Okay.
But I didn't do anything.
But you did. In another history, you were able to perform a prime decomposition on the 25-digit integer that Dio left behind. Only you could do that sort of thing. Because of your feat of mathematics, we were about to determine that Dio had planted the bombs. Then we were able to question him and get the password for the number 31. Finally, we used that information to stop the bomb in this timeline. Without your help, Alice, we would have been reduced to nothing more than so much space dust. This history exists because of your presence. Now, let me explain why we needed Tenmyouji and Quark. Tenmyouji is simple. We needed you for the same reason we needed Clover. You are able to access the fourth dimension. Almost half a century ago, you used that ability to save a young girl, didn't you?
Yeah, I did.
We needed you to resonate with Sigma and Phi, so we brought you here.
And we needed Quark because he's attached to you, so...
All it took was a messenger.
Do you want to see Akane? If you do, come with me. I was a fool and fell for it.
And you brought Quark with you. In fact, you insisted that he come.
Yeah, I know. I guess you were worried about leaving me alone, huh? He kept saying he couldn't run off to the moon and leave me behind.
I'm sorry, Quark. If I hadn't been so stupid and selfish, none of this would have happened to you. I never thought this would happen. Can you ever forgive me?
Oh, don't worry about it. I mean, I agreed to come with you. I thought the moon would be way more interesting than boring old Earth. What kid would turn that down?
We didn't see the messenger after we got on the ship. It was on autopilot. As soon as we got in, it headed straight for the moon. During the trip, Zero told me to keep quiet once we got there. I don't remember anything after we landed.
Then there was a bunch of that white smoke, and we passed out, and when I woke up, I was in the AB room.
Now, Dio.
So, Quark literally is just there because Tenmyouji. That's the entire purpose of Quark. That's so sad.
His real name is Left, and he's the leader of a terrorist organization called the Myrmidons. He was ordered to come here. The Myrmidons are under the control of an organization called Free the Soul, which is in turn controlled by a man known as Brother. It was Brother who orchestrated the release of Radical 6 into the general population 45 years ago. Do you remember what Phi mentioned earlier? The ultimate purpose of the AB project is to change history and keep Radical 6 from being released. If we succeed, that would be bad for Brother and his organization.
Right, yeah.
Our success would prevent them from creating the ideal world they're working toward. That is why Brother sent Left, his trusted lieutenant, to this facility. They needed to stop the AB project. So, Dio was given two tasks. The first was to eliminate Akane, the architect of the AB project. The second was to join the AB game and win it.
I like to think that when Dio just like woke up after having been knocked out before he could stab someone and is just like in that AB room with the bracelet on, I like to imagine he was just like, oh, must have done it. I guess I did it. I just forget.
If Dio won the game, the AB project would not be completed. At least, not in that timeline. In other words, in that world, the project would have been stopped. If things didn't go as planned, Dio was given a contingency plan. If you cannot murder Akane and win the game, destroy Rhizome 9.
Oh, so he didn't murder Akane, so he planted bombs? Is that what
Hence,
I mean?
the bombs.
Can I ask you something?
Can I ask something too? Where did he just have those bombs? Because he had to have had them on him, right?
Perhaps.
How did Brother know about the AB project?
He was also an Esper. We can set
course.
Brother aside for now, though. May I proceed?
Are we going somewhere? I forget what you're supposed to be explaining. No one objected. We were all curious.
Excellent. That explains everyone, save two, Luna and myself.
Yep.
Sigma and Phi already know the truth about Luna. I don't believe I should reveal any more, however. I think it would be more appropriate if you could ask Luna yourselves, at a later time. Would that be alright with you, Luna?
Yes. That's okay.
As for me, as I said before, I was born and raised here. The rest of you were brought to this facility, but I've never left. That makes me someone close to Zero Senior and Akane.
Hey, I've been wondering, who is Zero Senior?
You've already met him, Sigma. In another timeline.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, I saw a hologram. Still don't know who he is.
Stage 2 is complete.
Oh.
TP00 unlocking.
Of course, they're gonna interrupt when we're like getting to good stuff, because you gotta prolong the ending for as long as you can.
It looks like it's finished. Shall we open the pod?
Yeah, let's do it. All of us gathered around the pod. The glass was still covered with frost, hiding the contents.
Okay, let's get started then. Ready?
Phi laid her hand on the lever and looked around at us. I swallowed. Yep, anytime.
All right, here we go. 3, 2, 1.
Yeah, I was kind of, as they were like prolonging it, I was like, it's not even gonna be, it's not even gonna be Akane. I was not expecting to see my face, but what? Suddenly my head was full of memories from other timelines. I'd seen something like this before. The warehouse of floor B. In front of the white door. Kay was lying in front of me. I grabbed his mask and saw me. My own face. I never figured out who he really was. Why was there a man with my face underneath Kay's armor? Didn't make sense. After I'd seen him, I was injected with Jubocurine, and that was the end of that. But wait. If the person in the pod was the same person I'd seen on the floor of the warehouse, does that mean that Akane is currently in Kay's suit? Who was wearing Kay's armor?
You finally noticed.
Okay, I get it. That's why she was like, I'll be with you along the way.
Didn't I tell you? You won't be alone.
Uh-huh.
I will be at your side, watching over you.
No. Oh my god, you're...
Yes, I am.
Akane Kurashiki.
Wow, shocking.
It's you. June. I mean, Akane from... But you're old.
It's almost like time has passed, Clover.
Yes, that's correct. I haven't spoken to you in a very long time, Clover. Or you, Junpei.
Yeah.
Junpei?
Akane. Long time no see.
I could barely hear what they were saying. My mind was still reeling. It felt like all the air had been knocked out of me, and it was all I could do not to collapse right then and there. Are they gonna explain why there's somebody who looks like me, and if they're a robot, why they look like me?
When? How long?
Do you remember when the two of you saved me in the warehouse?
Yes, you were like, I'm gonna watch over your shoulder or something. Yep, I remember that.
Once you saved me, you went back to your future. Well, your minds did at least. I carried your bodies to the 3rd AB room, and then took Dio's to the 5th. After that, I went into the 1st room and borrowed Kay's armor.
So by the time you and Clover came out, you'd already...
Yes.
Wait. That doesn't make any sense. Dio killed you. What? And then Luna took your body to the 6th room. What? Not in... Huh? You couldn't have been in Kay's armor.
No, it was me. In this timeline, at least. In this one, I wasn't murdered by Dio.
Yeah, Sigma. Come on. Keep up.
You two saved me. It's just like Schrodinger's cat.
Is that how you're supposed to pronounce it? Schrodinger's? I thought it was Schrodinger's.
Your actions in the future decided who would be inside the armor in the past.
What? No, that's nuts.
Alright, what about the other history? The one where you weren't saved. What happens then?
The other
Who's wearing the
Sigma
armor?
looking...
That's quite simple. The man in front of you.
Him?
That's correct. Whenever I'm not in the armor, he is.
Okay.
What about the memory loss?
You're not... Fai's just like, yeah, okay, I'll accept that there's just some other guy that looks like Sigma. Moving on. Okay.
For my part, I confess that I lied. He, on the other hand, was telling the truth. Large doses of soporil can cause memory loss. I gave him a rather large dose.
So, who is he?
Thanks, Quark. Jeez.
You've never seen him before?
Look at me. Do I look different right now?
No.
Really? What do I look like? What's going on?
What about the rest of you?
I have no idea who he is.
What do I look like to you? I'm confused.
I've never seen him before.
Me either. Total stranger.
Huh? Hey, come on. What are you guys saying? Right here? Same face?
Huh? Huh?
Are you alright, Mr. Sigma?
But I've seen me. No, I guess it's never actually shown my face. We did see, like, what's it called? Like an animation where I was holding down Dio, but it didn't show my face in that. And that's why I was also shocked when I saw that face. I was like, who that?
Did you hit your head or something?
So what do I look like? Huh? What? Didn't make any sense. Why didn't they recognize me?
Sigma, your consciousness can jump through time.
Wow, thank you for telling me for the fifth
You
time.
can inhabit your body in the past or in the future.
Oh, do I look like that old guy somehow? That we saw? Is that how they're phrasing this? But that actually doesn't make any sense, because in that one timeline we did see a young looking body wearing that bodysuit thing, the blue bodysuit, holding down Dio. Whoa, what does that mean?
Don't you get it? You've jumped to the future. From 45 years ago.
So am I that old guy? Because I was trying to figure out how that would be possible, because that was kind of my inkling. And Dio called me an old senile guy, and I was like, huh? A pond. I ran to it and threw myself down on my knees. Crawling on all fours, I approached the edge. My heart was hammering inside my chest. A cold sweat trickled down my spine. Calm down. Calm down. Calm down, damn it. I struggled to take deep breaths. Then slowly, it's gonna be the old guy. Which kind of goes with my gut feeling that we were somehow responsible for stuff, and we're somehow Zero Senior or whatever. Slowly, I peered into the pond, looking for my reflection. Yep. What? No, this can't be real. This face.
It's your face, Dr. Sigma Climb. Although, to the you that's behind it now, it's your face 45 years from now. Zero, the mastermind of the AB project.
So then who the heck is Phi, and where did she come from? Was she the third pod person? Is that how that's gonna work out? Because I knew there was something like weird. Because I was like, they said that there was 3 pods, so 3 people would have had to have been the ones like kept in cold sleep. So I'm assuming that the third person is Phi, because we know that it was Clover and Alice, right? That's the only explanation I can think of.
Is you.
Is me. He did say he was like studying some or something. I don't remember. What? No, that's not possible. That's bullshit.
No, it's the truth. Fighting it isn't going to do you any good.
Okay, if that's the I actually kind of like that they had us see Kay's face and we, as the player, are like, huh, who's that? I actually kind of like that now. And the fact that they never showed, like, our face. Although we looked pretty young in that one, animation that we saw ourselves.
Please, Doctor.
I'm not a doctor.
You will be. A pioneer in the field of genetic engineering.
You're lying.
No, I'm not. You created him. Well, I suppose I should say you are going to create him.
Create?
His name is Kyle Climb.
Okay.
Your clone. That is why he looks just like a younger version of yourself. 23 years ago, in the biolab here in Rhizome 9, you created Kyle.
Okay, interesting. Not a robot, a clone. I should have been able to guess that, but...
Well, I suppose for you, that's still in the future. When I said I was born and raised here, I was still pretending to be him. The gravity here is only 1/6 of Earth's. If nothing was done, the reduced gravity would cause his bones to be weaker than normal human ones. But you prepared for that. You gave him that armor. Ever since he was born, he's lived inside of it.
Wait, hold on. My mind just like blacked out. What did you say? When I said I was born and raised here, I was still pretending to be him. The gravity here is only 1/6 of Earth. If nothing was done, the reduced gravity would cause his bones to be weaker than normal human ones. What? If nothing was done, the reduced gravity would cause his bones to— oh, just for like, okay, I get it.
It kept his muscles and bones strong. He wasn't forced into it for the Nonary game. He's been wearing it every day, all his life.
But why would future me create a clone?
He was to be your spare. If something happened to you before the project began, he would take your place. I mentioned before that the AB projects A and B stood for after and before.
Was there not a mirror in front of the sink in the infirmary or whatever? Have we really never encountered a mirror? Anyway.
That isn't all they mean, though. The A also means anima, and the B means body.
I feel like if I touched my face and it felt wrinkly, I'd be like, what's up?
Anima is another word for the soul, or the consciousness. Body is, well, exactly what it says on the tin. The past consciousness will go into the future body, and the future consciousness will go into the past body. They switch. That was the chief goal of the project.
Wait, so the future person goes into the past person?
Sigma, do you remember the note you found in the garden?
Oh, so is this gonna be like, we don't have to go back? It's actually our future self who is now back in our old self and is able to, like, fix things?
You mean this, right?
Yes.
Oh yeah, I do remember that.
Of course, it was you who investigated the garden in this timeline.
Yeah.
Sigma, take a good look at this. It's an illustration of the time jumps your consciousness is making. A is where everything began. December 25th, 2028.
So I'm kind of wondering. Oh my gosh, it's still okay. I might actually stop here. I have no idea how much more is left in this game. But I feel like there's probably enough to create another episode. I thought that this would just, like, go on for a little bit longer and then I'd be able to stop, but I'm definitely gonna have to split what I just recorded there. And I guess if right after this it somehow, like, ends in 10 minutes, I'll just tack it on. But for now, I will say, that's it for now, and we'll figure out more next time. This is going on longer than I expected, though I should have expected it, because these endings are always very long-winded. I should have known that. I should have expected that. But I like that things are finally, like, coming together and being explained. And yeah, it's good. It's good. I like it when stuff connects together. And maybe next time it'll be the final episode. Or maybe not, because I thought that this would be the final episode. We will see. Okay, goodbye for now.